If you work in arts management, you absolutely know the familiar sting of tight budgets, small teams, and that daily reality of wearing, about 5 different hats just to keep the lights on? It can be exhausting. But welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to demystify generative AI specifically for your world. We are taking what can feel like a really daunting, highly technical leap and showing you exactly how to turn it into a practical, everyday co-pilot for your organization. A co-pilot that can instantly relieve some of that pressure. So let's jump right in. You know, the dizzying pace of AI advancement right now can feel completely overwhelming. It brings up this really potent mix of awe and, anxiety. It's actually a lot like what humanity must have felt when we first took flight. That mixture of intense excitement and a very real sense of, uh-oh, is perfectly natural when you're facing such a massive, fundamental shift in how we approach our daily work. If you're feeling a sense of whiplash lately, there's actually a mathematical reason for it. It's called Ray Kurzweil's law of accelerating returns. Get this. Computing power is now progressing more in a single hour than it did in its entire first 90 years. To put that in an arts context, the underlying tech landscape is shifting so dramatically that the digital tools available to you when you announce a season in the spring, they might be vastly upgraded by the time the curtain actually rises in the fall. It's no wonder it feels like the future literally arrived yesterday. To make sense of this incredibly fast-moving landscape, here is our roadmap. Number 1, AI's accelerating evolution. 2, defining generative AI. 3, the Gen AI toolkit. 4, practical arts applications. 5, risks, ethics, and bias. And 6, embracing your co-pilot. Okay, section 1, AI's accelerating evolution. Let's look at exactly how fast we got here. In just a handful of years, this technology has sprinted forward at a totally unprecedented rate. We went from foundational academic research papers back in 2017 to the release of GPT-3 in 2020, and then boom, came the massive public launch of ChatGPT in 2022, leading directly into the development of autonomous agents in 2023. Contrast the years it took for that early research to happen with the mere months it took for ChatGPT to reach 100 million users. It's an absolute sprint, completely redefining how fast we adopt things in the digital age.
Section 2. Defining generative AI. What is it actually?
Traditional AI encompasses things like machine learning and neural networks. Basically, it uses deep learning to do work that would traditionally require a human, like analyzing data, finding patterns, or making predictions. And in an arts context, you actually interact with traditional AI all the time. It's the algorithm predicting dynamic ticket pricing for your weekend shows, or that recommendation engine suggesting what production a patron might like based on what they bought last year. But generative AI, it takes this a massive step further. It's a type of deep neural network that actually creates brand new content. We're talking about generating original images, videos, text, screenplays, music, and mostly importantly for our workflow, dynamic conversations. The real key difference here is between a search engine and a creation engine. It doesn't just find existing things. It predicts patterns to generate novel outputs that have literally never existed before. It invents. So the critical shift in mindset we need in the arts is moving away from the fear of an autopilot, that idea of autonomous machines completely replacing human effort. Instead, we have to embrace the co-pilot. A co-pilot is a collaborative tool that desperately requires human direction to function. Why? Because the AI lacks taste, it lacks intuition, and it certainly lacks an artistic soul. That is why you, the arts manager, are still the vital, completely irreplaceable ingredient in this entire process. Section 3, the Gen AI toolkit. Let's look at some accessible interfaces. You have several highly accessible interfaces at your disposal right now, and the best part? None of them require you to know how to code. You might use a standalone conversational layout like ChatGPT, where you simply type naturally to the AI. Or you might find this tech woven directly into the workspace tools you already use every single day, like Microsoft 365 Copilot or Google Workspace. The barrier to entry here is virtually zero. Really, if you can send a text message, you can use these tools. Moving on to Section 4, Practical Arts Applications. Let's talk about everyday workflows. Think about every single seat in your venue, every ticket sold, every operation happening behind the scenes, and every board member expecting a detailed quarterly report. For the stressed nonprofit arts manager wearing all those different hats, AI acts as the ultimate virtual intern. It can help you across the board. It streamlines communication for your customers, helps your staff brainstorm, and even distills complex financial reports for your board of directors. It really is a multi-tool for the whole organization. The workflow to achieve all this operates in two incredibly simple steps. Step 1 is crafting the prompt, and Step 2 is generating the output. But what does crafting a prompt actually mean in practice? Treat prompting exactly like giving instructions to an eager, highly capable, but incredibly literal intern. If you give vague instructions, you're going to get vague, unhelpful results. The real magic happens in how specific and descriptive you can be right there in that first step. For example, let's say you're staring at a blank page and you really need ideas for a major event. You could tell the AI, I want to host a donor event for a theater in June related to our 100th anniversary. We want the event to be fussy but fun. Ticket prices will be $250 each. Outline ideas for food, decorations, and activities. Be creative. Now, this is an excellent prompt because of the details. Giving it the exact price point of $250, specifying the month of June, and explicitly dictating a fussy but fun tone, well, that gives the AI the exact parameters it needs to succeed. And in seconds, your Copilot delivers specific, creative concepts tailored exactly to those instructions. It suggests a vintage-inspired photo booth with early 1900s props, classic hors d'oeuvres like deviled eggs and oysters Rockefeller, and a DIY interactive mac and cheese bar to perfectly nail that fussy but fun aesthetic. Boom. It just saved you 3 hours of staring blankly at a whiteboard trying to figure out what kind of appetizer pairs well with a 100th anniversary celebration. But listen, the utility goes way beyond just event planning. Imagine feeding the AI your most successful past social media posts and having it brainstorm an entire month's worth of fresh blog and content ideas in that exact same voice. Or say you just finished a grueling 3-hour board meeting and your notes are a complete mess. Instead of spending your entire Tuesday morning typing up a summary, you feed the raw audio transcript into your Copilot and get a crisp, one-page executive summary with action items in 10 seconds. Have hundreds of open-ended survey results from patrons? The AI can distill them into the top 3 recurring themes instantly. You can even take a generic marketing email and ask the AI to rewrite one version specifically for your 20-year loyal subscribers and a completely different version for casual, first-time, single-ticket buyers. It scales your communication effortlessly. Section 5, Risks, Ethics, and Bias. How to navigate this responsibly. Now, while these tools are undeniably powerful, we do need to navigate them responsibly. First, the risk. You can never blindly trust the results. AI can experience hallucinations, which is really just a polite way of saying it can confidently make things up. You always have to proofread. Second, data privacy. Never paste unreleased financial data, proprietary donor lists, or confidential internal memos into a public AI tool, because that data can sometimes be used to train future models. And finally, bias. These models are trained on massive amounts of human internet data, which means they inherit human biases. And this is exactly why human judgment, keeping yourself firmly in the driver's seat, is completely irreplaceable. In arts management, empathy, taste, and cultural nuance matter immensely, and the AI simply doesn't have those. Only you did. Finally, Section 6, Embracing your Copilot. The technology is here, it's highly accessible, and as we've seen, it's progressing by the hour. So the only question left for you is, will you let go of that autopilot fear and actually let this incredible technology serve as your everyday co-pilot? Because the truth is, while AI will never replace the human soul of the arts managers who use AI might just replace the ones who don't. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope you feel empowered to start experimenting right away.